folks, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And welcome to our a day late, maybe $1 short, but I don't care. We're going to talk about it anyways. Our Doctor Who review of the Ascension of the Cybermen.
Yep. There was a lot of Cybermen in this episode.
There was a lot of Cybermen in this episode.
There was a lot of Cyberheads in this episode too.
Yeah, that was an interesting use of handles as a kind of a wink and nod kind of thing.
Yeah, but they're drones.
Yeah, drones, and then there were the cold open of the Cybermen voiceover. I don't know if they really have called them anything other than the Cybermen, but the main guy with the half the helmet, Alpha or whatever.
Yeah,
like his voiceover at the beginning of the show, talking about how the Cybermen had lost, and there's Cybermen floating in space everywhere with handles. It wasn't handles, but it was a head floating in space.
Right.
Was kind of a really kind of eerie opening.
Yeah, which fit the episode.
Yes. So this was a continuation of the story from last week, and the overall story arc of what has been there this whole season, with Jack showing up and saying, don't give the lone Cyberman hit what he wants, and everything's not what you expect from the Master early on, and all that. So
we got Gallifrey burning again.
Right. And so overall, this is supposed to be part one of the two-part finale, right? And overall, I really liked this episode because it really felt like the origin of the Alpha Cyberman. I don't know if it is or not, because they don't really explain that.
Right, I kind of expect them to maybe clean that up in the next one.
Oh yeah,
right? Because
absolutely.
I mean, you got to him. I don't know what was happening there at the end. Like, he's being kidnapped by his father and the cop that found him when he was a baby, and they look exactly the same, except now he's old and retiring, and they're gonna take him away, and he essentially dies
like they
early in his career as a cop.
He
falls off of the cliffs. He gets shot and falls off the cliffs and wakes up, and let's go get the bad guy. So
that whole I really liked that story arc, especially since they left it kind of open-ended, but I like the idea that they're kind of hinting that the Alpha Cyberman is this. His name is Brendan, but it's like early 1900s kind of time period in like a small,
I would say it's like maybe 1930s.
Okay,
because it looks to be maybe about the
in between the wars kind of thing.
Yeah, the 60s or maybe 50s when he becomes a cop, and then it's kind of hard to tell. It's a small town, and
so nothing actually changes.
But
show us a car. But they kept kind of like cutting, like there's the main story of the fam and the doc, like trying to save the last 7 humans on Earth, and them trying to then get to this safe haven or portal or whatever it is. But they kept doing that story arc and then coming back and telling the story arc of what looks like the origin story for this for the Cybermen. But then they didn't really complete it, which is I'm very cool with, because we know it's a 2-parter.
Right. I would be not happy if that was the end of the season and we don't get another one until 2022 or whatever.
Right. What are we? Were they saying early 2022? Late 2021? I think it was late 2021.
Was it December?
Yeah. Maybe they'll do a Christmas episode or something this year. Not that they do Christmas, they do New Year's. But the other story arc with them, the companions, the fam, trying to go help the last of the survivors, and them getting split in a different kind of configuration than what we've been seeing.
Right. This time it's Ryan and the doctor, and then Yaz,
Graham, and the handful of survivors.
Which is now down to 2.
I think 3 or something like that.
Well, it's 3 with the kid who ends up with Ryan and the doctor too.
But
so
it was interesting because Yaz and Graham are on this spaceship trying with the one group of survivors, and they're trying to get to Valhalla, whatever it ends up being, the safe haven, and them going back and forth with being the positive, let's be positive, let's figure it out, let's do something stupid because it's a better idea than the other bad idea that's going on.
And they're actually doing a better job of flying these people's ship and keeping everybody cool and together than the people on the ship.
Right. The one of the best lines, Graham gets all the best lines. Like Yaz was saying, hold your breath. There'll be a shock and stuff like that. And Graham says, "We've been left out in the cold of space before. We know how it goes." It was like a really funny, like matter of fact line. And he just kind of looks at Yaz, and Yaz is like, that was that one time we were left in the vacuum of space. That was like early on, but But the story they were telling here was, how did we get the Alpha Cyberman story arc that we think that's what that is, and then we get the other story that is this place, this safe haven, this conduit to a different universe or a different dimension or whatever it is. The TARDIS is completely out of play, so they can't just write themselves into fixing it really easy.
Right.
And they get to this safe haven, and the doctor's like, how does this work? And they go out to the beach, and it opens up, and all of a sudden it really opens up where you get it clear, and it's Gallifrey on fire, which we saw in the second episode.
Right. When the Master.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he alludes to it, and then you actually get to see it.
Yeah. And the doctor goes back, and Gallifrey's on fire. I'm so sorry. But the idea that I'm dying, guys. I'm dying. Go camping for 6 days in the dirt. That having that connective tissue for that, and then having the Master pop out from there,
right?
And I knew the Master was going to show back up at some point in time in this season, but just him showing up and kind of being like, "Ta-da! Aren't you impressed?" Like there's gives such a it leaves it so open of what's going to happen.
Right. So why does he know about this thing? How is he using this thing, this portal or whatever it is?
Right. Why is Gallifrey on fire?
Why is, because this portal is supposed to be, there's this guy, he's like the lighthouse keeper or whatever.
Yeah.
And as straggler humans are coming through, he's showing them the way to this portal, and then supposedly to this better place, or where there aren't any Cybermen or whatever, so that they can live out their lives, except the portal is to Gallifrey on fire. And so were they going to Gallifrey not on fire before? And is this all timey-wimey and shit? Maybe these are the people that populated Gallifrey? I don't know.
That would be an interesting thought. The one that popped in my head is, what if this story, the thing that they're seeing, is from the War Doctor's timeline after he blows up Gallifrey, and everything that's happened from them going back and fixing Gallifrey, that time arc is something different.
Oh, yeah.
Like the circuits taught me, like they talk about in Endgame, like they changed one thing, and so now there's this branch that's going off.
2 or more lines.
That would explain Dr. Ruth.
That's true.
We get, because it's definitely the Doctor. They've said, Chip Nolan, everybody has said she is definitely the Doctor.
Ew, I like that.
And so you have this alternate, so now you can play with this entire, because we've always had, it's TARDIS, time and relative dimension and space, right? But we've never really dealt with the dimension part of it.
Yeah.
And the idea of taking time, it's a theory out there that every time you step on an ant, it opens up a new time arc, and it changes, and that new time thing is something different. And so having that idea and playing with that opens the story so much more. That's how you can have the Master come back. That's how you can have the Cybermen come back.
Right.
That's how you have the Daleks come back. You have this different time thing.
It's actually called the string theory.
Yeah, I knew it was in there somewhere. I'm trying not to choke on my spit, so it's one of those nights. But I just the episode overall was really good, and I could see how they're setting stuff up, and then they give us this trailer where the Master and the Doctor are like, everything is about to change.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm not okay with it, like in a good way. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I'm not gonna like it, and then I'm gonna cry. One of the arcs that we've been talking about all season is the fact that we have been feeling like we're gonna lose one or more of the fam.
I was super worried this episode because they were in like some serious danger.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they've been in this kind of danger before.
Right.
I mean, I thought Ryan was gone there for a while.
Ryan was gone, but they really left it open that Graham and Yaz are, they're trapped with the rest of the and the Cybermen. They ended up on the flying fortress that the Cybermen had at the last battle of the Cybermen, and they get on it thinking that they have a chance to get away with it, and then they realize it's full of Cybermen, and then Alpha and his cronies go in. Yeah, I like henchmen. And they're rusted. That was one of the things.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
That's one of the things that's kind of freaking me out. And is like his whole left arm is exposed, and the left half of his face is exposed.
Yeah.
And anyways, I want to get to what I think he is in a minute. But they actually make a line that he goes in and wakes up one of the Cybermen, and then starts
attacking it,
operating attacking it, whatever. Yeah. And they say he's the Cyberman that makes Cybermen scream.
Right.
And so it's this idea that like, who is like, how do you make it
anti-Cyberman? Like he's attacks Cybermen, or is he crazy?
The doctor talks about how he is dictated by emotion, which is,
but like he didn't get finished, right? And so that just made him crazy, and half finished, and still feels emotion, and like something happened in the middle of his process
or something,
and
he almost comes across as a zealot.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't meant to be like a real, like he wasn't really, like he even says, I volunteered as tribute. And then something happened and they weren't.
But from everything we've seen, that wasn't true, because when
from what we've seen, but like my headcanon, my head fan theories here, is that he has an emotional relationship with another Cyberman, and different fan.
When two Cybermen love each other.
But the idea that he was either rejected by the Cybermen, or that he came across a Cyberman and tried to be one, and in that process became a zealot more than actually a real boy, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's so militant about everything.
Yeah.
And I just think that it would be kind of an interesting like kind of thought process. If you take something like the Cybermen, which are essentially emotionless, militant, law and order kind of people.
Yeah.
They aren't really evil. They're just like
well, they don't feel any emotion, so they can't be evil.
Right, exactly. They're just very much
they're just following their programming.
Following their programming, so they're the machines from the Matrix, right?
Right.
And so just the idea of having him be like this misguided zealot, I'm wondering how that's going to play out and stuff.
Maybe.
One last thing I want to talk about was what we think is going to happen. We have no clue.
I was going to say, I don't have any.
I have no clue.
We just went through a couple of scenarios, but we don't know.
The big thing with the Master saying that, like, everything you think you know is wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering how that's gonna dictate, like, what I'm really worried about is, as good as the season is, I don't want the base fans like us to turn away from them because they do something I don't believe I'm saying this, completely off the wall for Doctor Who, but I don't know how you could do anything completely off the wall. Then, you're only allowed 13 regenerations, and then Matt Smith gets they write that rule out of the system. Never tell me the rules with one line. So the show can, and that's the basis of the show when it really comes down to it, is rewriting themselves and taking everything that's happened.
Right, because timey-wimey and shit. You just go back and fix it.
Fix it, or play with it, or break it. I was thinking something more profound than break, but whatever. So that is our thoughts on this, the last episode of Doctor Who, called The Ascension of the Cybermen. What did you guys think? Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Also, if you're on the podcast feed, follow us there. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff now that our lives are not about camping for a week in the dust and then
holidays
mud and the holiday and
going to the Caribbean. It's a hard luck life, really.
And we get to travel some more. Anyways, so let us know what you thought of all this stuff and everything. You can follow us on all the social media stuff and get all kinds of updates: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. And until next time, if we don't see you, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.